So it might be shorter than a usual show, but towards the end of it, last 30, 20 minutes or so, I will be doing psychic readings for the audience. So if you'd like to be read, let me know towards the end of that, and then we can read you a little bit. If you would like to schedule a private reading, again, head over to revealingfate.com. All that information is down below on the banner. You'll be seeing it go along here. So that's how you can find that. I am gonna share this to my page, or share this to a couple of places. So if you'd like to help me out, please do share this wherever it's appropriate, wherever we can grow the audience. That would be much, much appreciated, guys. I'm just going to share it to my astrology page as well. Oop. Paste. Nice. We're live. That's what I said. Hey, Dory. Hey, Amanda. Welcome back, Sarah. All right. Let's share this to my personal page too. Join us for some live channeling and a chance towards the end to be read, or to hear what Spirit has to say for you. Let's do this. Post that. Bear with me, I'm just sharing it. Got to grow that audience, you know, to make it interesting, to make it worthwhile for everybody here so we can reach as many people as we can. So I appreciate that. If you're just coming on now, my name is Skye Chen. If you'd like a reading after this, head over to revealingfate.com. All that information should be down here below, following the banner you'll see. I'm going to be just channeling the collective for this show to see what Spirit has to say about what's going on right now. There's a lot going on. You and I both know. Then towards the end of the show, the last 30 minutes or 20 minutes or so, we will do live readings for you guys watching as this is being streamed. I want to post this to a couple of pages. So it'll be like back in the day, hopefully, where we can get like 30 people or more watching. It's always great shows when that happens. I appreciate that when that happens. All right, let's go here. Oh, Dory says I'm tired. I'm tired too. I slept a lot today. I took a nap after I woke up after a couple of hours and ended up waking up at like 4 o'clock. It was, I want to go to this actual post. Facebook's just loading and loading and loading. Here, let's go to the posts. All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Let's share it to, what are we going to do? Group. Mystic Rose Connections. Join us live for what Spirit has to say tonight. Let's copy this. Come on. There we go. Copy. Boom. Post. The roads are bad here now. Everyone be safe, says Dory. Yeah, I had an appointment with Dory today. What was it, like 2 or 3 weeks ahead of time? Almost, or was it, has it been a month? I don't know. Time is really weird. And I'm trying to angle myself so my lens glare doesn't get in the way. She's an amazing Reiki healer. So check her out if you guys aren't able to, or if you guys haven't already. But the roads are way too slick here for me, where I'm at here in southern Minnesota. It rained, and then the rain froze probably overnight, and then it was raining on top of that. And I was texting Dory, and I went outside to go check, and just walking out the front door, the first 3 steps, I was slipping and sliding underneath my feet, and my entire car was coated with this. It looks like glass. I don't know if any of you are watching from the South or other parts in the U.S. that are warmer. It gets cold up here, and some unique weather conditions can arise. So my entire car was coated in this. I actually think it's gorgeous. This shimmery, slick, slippery glass ice, I guess you can say. Glass-like ice. Let's share this to another group. Let's do here. Boom, post. And if you guys want to help me out by sharing, please do. I appreciate that so much. Let's grow this audience. I have a goal of growing this audience to about 30 people. I was going to say folks. 30 people, like back in the good old days. Let's see if we can do that. So I posted high vibes, psychic reading, divine intervention. Well, actually, I posted a mystic rose. Let's do high vibes. It's a good page. Post. Share to a group. And I've got some sage here I'm about to burn in my crucible to bless this space and everything else. I'm just going to get it set up. Let's go here. And if you know of a way that I could post to multiple groups at once, let me know. That would be awesome. That was interesting. It says I'm not eligible to boost my broadcast. Wonder how they determine that. Let's see. Paste. Share to another group. We'll go psychic readings live. That's perfect. Ooh, I want to do live feeds. There's a really good group that I'm part of that helps us share each other's live feeds. Lightworker live feeds. That's what it is. Yeah, it's a good group. Okay, let's post to there. Psychic Moon and Twin Flame Collectives. That's a good place to paste as well. Boom, we got 8 people. Not bad. I appreciate you being around here, guys. Thank you. They gave you 5 shares. Thanks, Daryl. Appreciate it. Dory, I'm just checking the comments back here. In 1 hour, it was much better. By 10 this morning, got worse this afternoon. Yeah, it would have been, if it was already that bad in the morning, it would have been harder to drive back after the session would have been over. Oh, Sarah says, I drove like 15 miles per hour all the way home, white knuckles and all. Yeah, I channeled it, and it was like, it gave me an iffy vibe, and I just had to say no. I said I had to say no. I really wanted to meet Dory today for this healing. And I just heard about the storm this last morning too. I didn't really see that. I don't really follow the weather ahead of time, you know, because a lot of the times it doesn't end up happening the way that the forecast says it's going to happen. We'll go to third eye. Boom. We're going to get to the channeling here, guys, in just a sec. I'm just sharing to a lot of different places right now. I have a goal of reaching this audience to about 30 people or so. We've got 6 online right now. I appreciate you being on. Stars and Moon Tarot and Oracle. We just saw my screen flicker a little bit. Did I already go do this? I think I already... Well, no, I didn't. Man, I wish there was like a big group of groups, like a group of groups for me to share to with like one hit. Daryl says, Kim Tate, hop in. Amanda says, shared out to all my groups. Skye, Chen, you're right. It took ages. More than one at a time. One at a time is time consuming. Yeah. Thank you, Dory. Here we go. Mystical spiritual connections. I wanted to post it to this one too. I'll have to figure this out. I'll look into it. Let's post to the Galactic Federation of Light. Okay, I think that's all I'm going to post to. That's a good chunk. I'm a member of some good groups. Let's see. And then I got it on my other page. Did I put this? Ooh, let's do it on my my personal one. All right, I'm going to put my glasses back on. I'm going to try to just look over here, aim at my mic. I was looking into how I can reduce my lens glare. And I do not wear contacts. Cool. Okay. All right, we'll get into it now. Let me burn some sage, offer some sage. Always got to get a good ember going. I ask that spirit keep me light on my feet as I walk the earth. Clear my energy. Clear my space. Bring in love and light. Bring in your messages. Come through me. Unfiltered, and for each and every individual, and for all that need to hear what they need to hear. Bless their space. Bring them in near and far to come here tonight. Grow the audience tenfold, I ask. Alrighty. So, there's this energy in the air tonight. I heard it. I heard double down. There's a divide happening. And this could be said in general for a couple of years leading up to this moment in time right now. But this is different. This is not just a general dividing. This is denial. There's a lot of air of denial, and it's mostly self-denial. And you have to realize that, I guess this is a good precursor to get into this topic for tonight, that like attracts like in the universe. Energy, the energy that's underlying our words, our actions, our sentiments. That's what the truth is. That's what's underneath it all. That's what the essence of our communication is. Before the words, there are sensations and feelings that drive the formation of those words in your thoughts, in your mind. Hey, Katie, welcome. Thank you for being on this broadcast, Katie. I think you can relate to this as well. No matter where we are at on the spectrum, and I'm going to be careful with my wording here because of the hot potato-ness that social media is right now, if you're following it. I'm not here to lecture you or to sway your opinions, but I'm here to talk about what is coming through for me, what is energetically present in the collective. There's dissidence, there's doubling down, which is what I heard. Digging heels in further. And this might or might not apply to you, but I hear that it applies to everybody here on this broadcast tonight, even the people watching this after it's been recorded. There are people that we have felt very close to in our lives that have been, it's been feeling like we're losing them or we're, how would you even say, I heard like changing lives almost in a sense, like rebearing yourself. The loyalties that we've had to people and ideas, concepts, and like our identities is being tested, is being changed, is shifting for a lot of us. We thought we were this kind of person. We were a housewife, we were a mother, we were an engineer, an artist, whatever labels you can give. There are millions of labels we can give ourselves as individuals, as groups, you know, the United States of America, a Minnesotan like myself. There's a lot of doubling down from fear. There is a fear, there's a misunderstanding that's lying beneath compulsions of individuals. People are feeling compulsive to lay their truth across. And what that's saying is that there is a insecurity afoot. This is where the fear is. This is what the fear is, this insecurity. And I wanted to brush on this topic because I received the information yesterday that part of my journey and why I've been feeling so alone the past 3 months or so, whether you want to see that as a good or a bad thing, depending on whoever you are, because we've been in moments in our lives where we say, gosh, if I was just alone, if I just had some time to myself, oh my God, I'm pressed at work, my friends are pressuring me, I feel suffocated, I just need to escape, right? A lot of us have been there. And then there are other times in our lives where we're like, oh my God, if there was just somebody in my life to hear me out, to be there for me. So the grass is always greener is the kind of message with this. But this has been happening to many of us lately because it's showing us what we're capable of when we are in charge of managing ourselves primarily. Because there's this larger sort of, I guess you could call it a meta lesson or a big opportunity for many individuals who have been easily swayed throughout their lives. And empaths, you know what I'm talking about with this, where it's difficult sometimes to know, where do I stand and where do other people stand? What is my thoughts, feelings, and beliefs from what their influence on me is? And it's difficult, everybody, to find that fine line between navigating yourself, hearing people out, and still being receptive of other people and of energies that come your way in life, but also remaining sovereign as you place your step. It's a delicate balance. It's like walking a tightrope. So I wanted to bring this topic up today. Spirit is guiding me to do that because yesterday I received that message loud and clear for myself, and I felt like a lot of folks are going through this too, and you don't hear a whole lot about it. With a lot of the mainstream things you're being exposed to today, or you're hearing or picking up. It seems like a calamity. It seems like a dark place we're headed with regards to free speech and with regards to being or having, what's the word? Exposure, being seen, being heard, being part of a group. But there's a divine potential within this that is to find the self, to manage your own energies in such a way that you can really sharpen those tools that you have within you, the embodiment that you are, your mind, body, spirit, and emotions. A lot of times we think that our spirit is within our bodies, but it's actually the other way around. Our bodies occupy within our spirit. Our aura extends beyond us, not just with our energetic bodies, but with our ethereal bodies as well. The web of connection between source and all of the individual lives that pan out in this realm is an extension, or not an extension, words are hard in this area. It is part of us. It's like a bacterial colony is one organism made up of trillions of individuals. There's a certain kind of hiveness to this too, but that's really what's going out in the collective. And so if you're finding yourself increasingly frustrated in trying to homogenize with a society at large, which is extremely divisive and hears different information and believes in different things, that is a call to your soul to return inward, to return to this one, to know the very basic bearings of life stem from this one. Because that's the message that came to me loud and clear yesterday. It's know yourself, stand where you may, believe in what you believe, and recognize how susceptible you can be to having your opinions changed, having your views changed. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just the extent to which psychic mediums can be open right now is so great that we can literally get lost in that current and not know what we're getting sucked into. You know, life has a current. We have to flow with the rivers of life. But with the same flow that keeps life going, it can also destroy it. I guess there could be a better analogy than that, but that's what I'm seeing right now. I'm seeing rivers and flow. That's been a theme that's been coming up in my personal life. And I know with yours as well. It's accepting that flow. And knowing which flow is yours. There isn't just one river. There isn't just one estuary. You know, the Amazon River is one river conceptually, but when you zoom in, it's got all these millions of different tributaries and streams and runoffs and multiple sources of water that flow into it. There are many different nooks and crannies within that one system. It's like a blood vessel within the body, or the branch of a tree. It's one branch, but within that one branch are many dozens of smaller branches that truncate and come back to a larger branch that you can follow from the tip to the base, a sort of like, not siphoning process, but like a simplification, like, you know, returning to this single source and sort of the opposite of exponentiality, whatever that would be. I don't know. I'm not a mathematician. Thank you, Dory. Dory's been sharing. Katie says, I relate to this so much. And Katie, with your story, you know, I really appreciate you coming on here. You had mentioned a while back when things started to heat up with the politicalness that's going on, the situation that's going on, because you have your beliefs, you kind of like, you fall, I hate to put it this way, like, because it's so divisive already, but just like we find out where we are currently within the political spectrum. And there's, you know, a lot of, it seems to be pushed over the understanding in the collective that we as individuals don't need to be transfixed. We don't always just stay. You know, for example, I did a political orientation test for the first time since college, and I have become more liberal, actually, since then. But if you follow some of my personal posts and my own opinions and beliefs and what I see happening from my perspective, it's difficult to what's the word? It can be difficult to see that. It can confuse a lot of people because there's this whole notion of like tribal, this like, which group do you lie in? And there's less of an emphasis on like relating to one another as individuals and trying to respect one another and hold space for one another. You know, a lot of my friends who are also light workers have expressed confusion beyond everything. And this isn't being talked about a lot. Confusion as to, gosh, I didn't even realize that this friend and this friend and this friend believed those things that I believe differently. How is it so? There's this dissonance, right? Because we're learning to overcome these labels, these boxes, and this self-imprisonment that we do largely unconsciously. And not just that, but when we identify specifically, not to say it's right or wrong, but when we identify ourselves with labels, and those labels can extend everywhere, right? You know, your profession. I'm a doctor, whatever, or I'm an engineer, or, you know, whatever. Or our religions, our castes, our creeds, our nationalities, our languages, everything, you know, man or woman, this or that. That will limit us. It always does. And whether that limitation is for you or not, that's up to you. This is one reason why I talk about where I stand on the concept of boundaries, because you hear this everywhere in the Western world these days. Boundaries this, boundaries that. And I just have to make the correlation here. Boundaries are what are used between countries. Boundaries are walls. Boundaries create a sectioning off of a space or something. And I'm not saying that's good or bad. I'm saying that's what they do. So if that's what the circumstances call for, that would be appropriate. It's just know the whole of what you're getting into. There's this sense of like, because for now, I feel like the human race is, this is okay for us now. It doesn't feel okay. As an individual, it can be very nerve-wracking and very, like I'm feeling antsy personally, like, you know, like where to put all of this energy and this channeling towards, because it seems like society at large is being polarized even more so. But I feel like there's a true gift in this, because the more isolated people feel, the more the message of saying seek inward, seek inward, seek inward is becoming. Because even the ways that we seek inward is actually seeking outward, looking for advice, looking to gurus, looking to what other people say, researching this, going on YouTube, networking, right? Researching all of this. There's a time and a place. Just know when you're being carried with the rivers of life, are you going out to the ocean to endlessly float around? Or is there some sort of bearing that you're headed to? Is there some sort of perspective that you are needing to see? Got to draw a card here. We're going to start drawing some cards. I asked some interesting, I was looking at my pendulum here. I was gifted this pendulum from my friend Jess. If you're watching, thank you so much. I love this thing. It's a raw amethyst chunk. Isn't that gorgeous? But I was asking some very deep questions yesterday and was getting some awesome answers. A lot of it was surprising, not to say the least. I was asking some large scale kind of stuff, which may be sensitive to talk to or to talk about here on social media. If you're just watching this, head over to revealingfate.com to schedule a private reading with me if you are inclined to do so. I do appreciate you sharing this, getting the word out. We've got 5 people watching right now. Thank you guys for sticking around with me. I appreciate your presence. Ooh, that just flipped out. Building blocks. Right. Because I feel like tonight's broadcast is really just about the meat and potatoes of now, of what's going on. What we got to look at. Building blocks is a really such an appropriate card to come out here right now. Talking about seeking inward when we're trying so desperately, our energy, it feels, trying so desperately, whether we're red or blue or wherever we lie, if we're talking about in the United States. Like, where do I align to? What do I believe? What is believable? What is truth? Why are those other people believing that which isn't true? Do you see the commonality, and do you see why there's so much clash? Because like is attracting like energetically. There's this insecurity about a lot of us, and we have to own that, right? We have to own how we're feeling, where we're confused. Own that confusion. Don't ignore it. And why is it? What is driving our quest to need to have confirmation? To need to know what is true from what isn't true. Because I had this revelation with myself yesterday. It's like seeking out the validation everywhere I go and then being dissatisfied with what I do see. You know, it's like shopping for readers. It happens a lot. It's one of my pet peeves as a psychic medium, because I can always tell when people come on my stream and that are just looking to see what they can get and are in and out and looking for that person who's going to tell them what they want to hear, what will reinforce in them. And it's understandable, right? It's understandable because we want to know the truth. We want to know what's there. That drive within us is pure, is serving us. But it's the manner in which we seek, not the drive to seek itself, that matters so much right now. That is the biggest takeaway for tonight's broadcast. If you haven't heard anything else that I'm saying right now coming out of my lips, that is the most important thing to hear, whatever I just said right there. Comments to any of the other spots that I've shared to. I'm going to go check on my personal wall here. Ooh, 66 people. That's a good sign. Oh, 55 on my battery too. Oof. Hey, Nina. Welcome. I'm just looking through. Making sure I'm getting all of your comments, or I'm able to see at least most of them. Oh, wow. Andrew Yang is live right now. That was a presidential candidate that I was interested in hearing what he had to say when he was running. Very interesting individual. Okay. I don't think I'm missing anyone. All right, let's get back. Thank you for sticking with me, guys. Ooh, did you see that? That literally flipped around. And we're talking about, wow, this is crazy. To the sea. And we were just talking about that analogy I gave of going down life as a river heading into the ocean and endlessly floating. But to the sea is all about like initiation, about like walking the walk, not just ruminating, you know, releasing stagnation, going your own path. I think there, y'all, I've been saying this for months. I think there is such a tremendous opportunity right now for self realization, for self-improvement, self-growth, self-cultivation. It's all about where it starts, where source begins. There's a reason we call it source, right? And I'm not saying that I am God at the exclusion of you. We have God within us. That's what Jesus meant. I'm not a Christian, by the way, okay? I'm really not a Christian. But that is what Jesus meant by saying, God is within us. God is within you. This is the temple. Treat it as such. A vessel of God. It's within all of us. You know, I had that information come to me last week too about religion in general, just about how the hearts of so many people within it are pure and wonderful. And I appreciate the devotion in so many religious friends that I make across this lifetime. But within just religion itself, I saw how, I wish I could paint this or draw this, because I'm getting so many visuals lately. It's awesome. I love it. Like when I was a kid, that's starting to kind of come back more. I saw this visualization of how it actually happens, where many people who are religious give their power away to the concept, to something else, and it, without them realizing it, it puts their gaze 180 degrees opposite of where God lies. They can feel God, they sense God, they love God, but they're denying that recognition within themselves out of a fear, out of a drive for knowing, or not just knowing, but being complacent on what we know, right? What was I mentioning earlier? What was the word? Can you guys bring it back to me? Assurance, like to know that what it is I know is definitively the truth, and it's not going to change. It's like this energy, this disposition that people are taking up right now. Not everybody, a lot, enough. And I was asking some very specific questions about what's going to happen in the next month or two up at the Capitol, within the government, within the larger structures of society, because I typically don't really focus there as of late. I've been focusing on my own experience. But I did want to see like what's coming in store for everybody in this reality, in this realm, speaking with me, mind, heart, body, and soul right now. And there are some very interesting things. There's going to be a lot more confusion. I see more question marks, and more has to be questioned. More is needed to be shown, because there's this energy that so many are clinging to on a notion of, this is the fact, this is what's going on, this is the reality, and I'm sticking with it. It's that unrelinquishing sense that actually points to a need for self-recognition, self-realization, to know that whatever state you're in is okay. Yet where is it headed? Where is that river taking you to? Not necessarily to look way at the other end of the mouth of the river, but just to see generally where it's going. You don't have to know specifically where it's going. You see, this is what's meant by walking this tightrope that I was mentioning earlier, about being confident within yourself and your own truths while still remaining receptive to other people at the same time. And I feel like that balance is imbalanced right now, which is what's leading a lot of spiritually gifted people and sensitives like myself and you guys towards chaos and a need to rest and rejuvenate, because this is affecting our every bit of us, not just our mental capacities, but as our energies, our bodies, our very physical nature, it's getting caught up in all of the current and all of what's going on right now. Another analogy I was using these past couple of months is like when there's detoxing, when people are when you detox, right? It doesn't always look pretty. Well, you can use this as an analogy for the sake of it. If you juice or if you go on a fast or something, what comes out your end doesn't always look pretty or feel all that great throughout the process, but it clears things away. That destruction, that chaos, if you will, in the moment is sometimes uncomfortable, is unacceptable by many. But the process itself, the flow itself, excuse me for lack of a better analogy, is divine. It's what's needed. It's beneficial. It's useful. And that's what we're really trying to get at here. That's what Spirit is trying to get forward, to come through. Katie and Dory say this relates so much. I'm glad that Spirit speaks to you and that these words land with you. I appreciate this. I appreciate our presence here. If you're just tuning in now, I'm Skye Chen. Please do like and share this. Let's get the word out. Let's grow this broadcast. You can find me on all the links down below, or not the links, but the information down below on the banner that's moving across the screen. You can find me on Facebook with the handle at Skye Chen Psychic. And you can find me on my website, revealingfate.com, if you want to schedule a private reading. That's the place to do it. You can also direct message me too. That works. I have a hard time believing that I'm not missing any comments as they come up. I'm looking at one of my friend's posts. That's a really cool crystal that she has. It's kind of shaped like a Pringles chip. I've never seen that before. I think it's selenite. Hey, Lulu. Welcome. I remember when we were both laughing at that post I shared, which was sad, but it was also really funny, about this dog that got into her owner's edibles and ate way too many. And that poor doggy was just like in another dimension. No, I'm just remembering that post right now. And that woman, what a big heart. Like she's got a cool vibe to her. So yeah, guys, to recap, you're just tuning in now. This is what I drew for the collective. The first is building blocks, and we're talking about scaling it back. Where do I stand? What am I? Why do I take on these identities within myself? What is that about? Because that's being brought to the forefront clearer and clearer and clearer. And fortunately or unfortunately, however you look at it, it's manifesting as a dichotomy, as two sides to a coin that feel they're both opposite from each other, but are really, really, really energetically similar. If you want to say, oh, this dude over here that I support, or these people over here that I support, I support free speech, or I support, what's going on over here, and this is what we need to do. This is what we need to do. Do you see how similar that is? Do you see how like attracts like in that situation? It's about the energy. It's not about the manifestation itself. It's like saying all life is composed of carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, 3 basic elements. but yet we have so much variety. I'm a human being with this kind of flesh, with hair and a beard and, all of that. And I've got plants that are growing here in my living room, which come from the same materials, and all of this planet, a lot of this planet. So there's that notion. And then to the sea, right? When we're talking about the flow, where is your flow headed? And what is it showing you? Like, where is this energy taking you? Because it seems contradictory to talk about like flow, like, because we hear like, let go of the flow of life, let it take you. But then also you can hear, okay, well, don't get too lost. Like I'm hearing a song by Gorillaz, Lost in Heaven. Now, that's a great song. Look it up if you can. I can't play it here, otherwise Facebook will flag me. But yeah, Gorillaz, Gorillaz. But you should know who Gorillaz are. They're a great band. Yeah. Let's draw another card. This deck is calling out to me, my chunker. This deck is all about archetypes and human behavior. If you guys are just tuning in now, I appreciate you being on my live and sharing the space with me. Please do like and share this where all is applicable and appropriate. If you want to schedule a private reading with myself, if you feel drawn to that, please head over to revealingfate.com today. Okay. What is the biggest obstacle right now to people who are grieving this dichotomy, this confusing space that we seem to be in with the collective? What is the biggest... Ooh. You guys, I should shuffle this on screen more, because that literally, I love this when it happens. It happens all the time, by the way, where cards in my decks that I'm drawing literally jump out or pop out or make themselves known. Look at this. I can't make this up. Hero or heroine, passion for a journey of personal empowerment, right? There's light and dark attributes or shadow attributes, but the light one came up with this. We like to always say that, how am I going to orient more towards the light? How am I going to invite this into my life? And good versus evil, black versus white kind of mentality itself is really being challenged in our times, because if you ever look at a yin-yang symbol, right? There's like a large portion of white or yang and a large portion of black or yin. And within the largest portions of them, there are two little dots that are the opposite colors of each other and look like little eyes. Do you know what those are? That represents that even within pure yin or pure chaos, there is an order. And conversely, or pure structure, there is a chaos or a disorder. So the reason I'm saying that is, even though I'm saying like this is a light attribute, don't take it as like, oh, that's bad to be a hero or a heroine when you have a passion for a journey of personal empowerment. But I mean, it's interesting this message is coming up right now because it's the largest obstacle. I asked, what is the largest obstacle to what we're feeling right now? The message is for somebody. What is that for? What is that about? It's not really making sense to me either. I know some of us are like, what's going on here? But that's what I'm getting right now. Because, okay, this is why. Because we get lost in our own echo chambers. That's why. And that's not letting the flow of life take you at all. It may seem like you're following a flow of life, but there's a lot of self-deception with this too. It's like, okay, I'm finding my group, I'm finding my situation, I'm finding my people or my truth or my understanding of things. Is it really yours? That's what I just heard right now. Is it yours? Did you choose it or did it choose you? Right? And if you're just tuning in now, that's been a big theme of tonight's show. Where Are you in this mix? Are you being totally taken? Or is there some sovereignty that you hold at all? They're not making it really clear to me either about which way to go, which is intentful. I'm living this human experience alongside you. And it can be confusing. It can be really confusing at times. Because there's no right or wrong about this. And that's what's so challenging in and of itself, because the right or wrongness, it's not about necessarily a moral judgment, but it's about judgment itself and our brains, our minds needing to make sense of things. Like we need to understand it in a certain way, and our ways that we understand are themselves being challenged. Does that make sense? That was good. Whatever I just said right there was spot on. Ooh, I get thirsty, you guys, when I'm in the zone doing this. Okay, we've been going for an hour. Perfect. All right, so here's what we'll do. Thank you, lovely people. I'll do a couple of readings just for like about 15 minutes or so. So if you guys would like a reading personally, raise your hand, let me know, and I will read you. We can use cards, or we can just go off of me. Either way, it doesn't matter, I hear. I'd like to connect with you and to get some specific messages about what it is you need to hear from Spirit. I'm going to take my glasses off too, because this lens glare thing is very frustrating. Katie. All right, let's read you, Katie. I've been feeling your energy this entire broadcast. Katie Richardson. There's some sort of nutritional deficiency that's making things, okay, magnesium. You're not getting enough magnesium because your sleep has been disturbed. Don't underestimate how important it is that nutrition has with its impact on you in your situation. It's not all about only the physical nature of what's going on, but you would be surprised, is the general gist I'm getting here, Katie. You would be surprised at how much of a leg up that will be to get your magnesium levels set. And you don't necessarily need a supplement for it. You don't necessarily need to get a fancy schmancy pill or whatever. Those can be expensive. You can get it from foods. You can get it from grounding. I don't know where you... Yeah, it would be okay. Like if you find a warm day, go out hiking or go somewhere with nature and go completely barefoot. Get some dirt on your feet. Other than that, Epsom salt baths are another great way to get magnesium into you. Or you're wondering about work? Well, that's what came up right away. What about our work situation? There's a female that you're clashing with. Speak your mind. You're not speaking how you want to. But don't come at it. You have a tendency to come at it with like a structure or a preconceived notion already as to like, here's what's coming up. Be brave and say how you feel. Say how you feel about something, how you sense into something, which is not logical, which is not guaranteed, which is not structured. And to you, it feels like there's no strength for it to be upheld by any criticism that you might encounter. That's the fear that I'm sensing with this. Katie says, I walk a lot, do baths a lot. I don't have a job right now. Well, that's what I got right away. This female that you clash with, I feel like it is related to work somehow. I'm not sure what that connection is, though. I see a lot of traveling. I see a Jeep, like the color white. I don't know if this is symbolic of something, like a white Jeep Cherokee. Like you want to adventure, you want to travel a lot. There's this There's an angst within you that you want to get out. You want to move. You don't want to be cooped up. I think it's not just physical, but it's more so like an analogy, or not an analogy. What's the word? An expression of how you feel, what your soul is saying. Okay, what does Katie need to hear? Actually, this deck over here. This one as well, but this deck has been wanting me to get a card. Beth, if you're seeing this now or in the future, thank you so much for this deck. This deck was gifted to me by Beth. One of the very first decks, I think the very first deck. Katie says, oh my God, so much angst. Yeah. Like in the traditional Chinese astrology sense of things, not Western astrology, I get a lot of water with you, Katie. I don't know if I've read your chart or anything, but water as an element in Chinese astrology is about movement, is about flow, adaptation, flexibility, coolness during hot times, you know. So very different from my energy. I'm mostly fire and earth, so I'm like a explosive volcano, but I'm getting that you feel very trapped right now, Katie. Not just with feelings of work as well, but also I'm picking this up now. I don't know if you watched this entire broadcast, Katie, but we were talking about earlier. This made so much sense to all of us watching it. But this is an opportunity for you to develop yourself, to see what it is that you actually believe and why. Because there's a lot of areas in your life where influence trickles in that you're not necessarily aware of or cognizant of, just because of the speed at which it does, in which it permeates. So there's like this sense of like reevaluation needed through simplicity is what I just heard. You need to cut some of the, like I see your life as like this bookshelf with just too many books, some of them out of order, some of them, you know, collecting dust. Nothing wrong with a bookshelf or books, but it's like, what is priority and why? It's coming up big right now. But let's get this card for Katie Richardson. Yeah, look at that. Enjoy growth and reap rewards. As I was just talking about personal growth. Look at all that green in the card. Slow down. Find yourself is what I just heard. Slow down and find yourself. The job will come without you focusing so much on it. Do you see how you're like focusing on like what it's going to look like, how it's going to be? You're doing things too much by the book. Let the book be you. Let you dictate what instructions are in that book. There needs to be more of that, because right now it's just a factory produced, mass produced book that you're following. That's what I'm getting. All right, Sarah. We'll do Sarah here. And we'll go for like another 10 minutes or so. Sarah and then Luvia. Welcome, Luvia. I think you're new. If you are new to this, my name is Skye Chen. I'm a psychic medium. Please do like my page on Facebook. It is at Skye Chen Psychic. If you are compelled to schedule a private reading with me, please do so. Go over to revealingfate.com for that. Okay. We're going to do Sarah. Yeah, Sarah. What is Sarah going through right now? So Sarah, with you, this is going to be personal because I'm taking from the archetype deck. So this is about behaviors in your life. What is a significant behavior in Sarah's life right now that she needs to address, that she needs to look at the most? These are excited. Another excited. Did you do a moon ritual? I feel like you did a moon ritual. Ooh, blockage here. And did you ever find out about that old woman that was coming up with you all the time? Sarah. Ooh. Okay, I'm not going to sugarcoat this, all right? I hope this is okay. The romantic sexual seduction is a little bit off your hinges right now. And I've actually been here in my life as well, because this is what came up, but it was in the shadow position, the Don Juan, using the power of romantic attraction for private agendas. Not to say that it's right or wrong, but this is limiting you greatly right now, because you're noticing like cycles in your life that may be repeating, or energies that repeat the cycles that you find yourself within over and over and over, with romance, with seduction, I hear. It doesn't serve you. You're laughing right now? Well, I'm feeling like you're lusting over lust itself, like you're wanting. I don't know. The colloquial term would be she thirsty. Or he thirsty. There's nothing wrong with that, but I feel like there's a creative power within you that feels stifled, because whenever you feel trapped, that's when you tend to like lash out. And lashing out isn't always through anger. Sometimes it's through other parts of us, right? Like other capacities we have. And sexual expression is a form or part of creative drive. Oh, we're back. Okay. Yeah, Sarah's saying it's very much a choice, but I'm being very selective as well. Yeah, so that's what's going on within your mind, but I'm feeling like within your body, there is this unresolved tendency that's there that is being brought up for you to address. There needs to be some clearing of it through like energy work, like body work is what I heard. Reiki, yoga, regular yoga. I don't know if you practice regular yoga, but hatha yoga, Hatha yoga is what I just heard now. That would be beneficial for you specifically, Sarah. All right, we'll do one more. As I look, it's 1:11, an hour and 11 minutes on this broadcast. Awesome. Awesome, awesome sauce. Okay, and then the last was who we got here? Ah, I see. Okay, Dory, I'll look up the yoga ASAP. Has Dory been telling you that too? Oh, Katie said, thank you. The female might be an old coworker. I had to get some space from her anger. Yeah, that's what was coming up, I feel. Because she's blonde, whoever she is. That's what I got. Okay, Luvia, if you're still here. Oh, Lulu, I'm just seeing your comment now too. I'm actually getting your energy quite a lot. Oh, Luvia's here? Okay. We'll do Luvia and Lulu. So I won't skip you, Lulu. And then I'm really going to go here. Okay, so Luvia. And this is just scratching the surface, guys. If you want a full in-depth reading, head over to revealingfate.com, which is my site, and schedule a time for me there. It links up to my Google Calendar, so you'll be able to see what's available. Or reach out to me on social media. Reach out directly, and we can get something set up for you. All right. Luvia. What does Luvia need to hear right now? Lulu, are you still there? I know I'm doing Luvia right now, but I just want to see if Lulu Love is still here. What does Luvia need to hear right now? This is the Moonology deck, by the way. So I'm already getting a sense that whatever this is about for you is about the transition, the change, where you are right now in the process of moving or of things changing. You're welcome, Lulu. Okay. Luvia. Yeah, Luvia, I feel like an angst with you as well. There's a lot of antsiness, just a lot of like not knowing what to do with one's time and energy. Your commitment is being tested. Look at that. I love this deck so much. It's so like sets the mood. It's so expressive. I guess it just speaks to my Scorpio nature. So there's like a connection to like East Europe. Hungary. I have Hungarian friends. This seems Hungarian or like Transylvanian. Could be like Romania, could be Hungary, but it's in like that place in Europe. I don't know what that connection is with you. I don't know if you're a spouse or anybody who's Hungarian family over there, or if you've been researching that part of the world, Transylvania. Very true, Ansi. I'm Scorpio too. I'm a Taurus sun, but Scorpio moon. But the Scorpio energy is deep with this right now. You're having a hard time making a decision on something because you've dived fully into this and you're like, gosh, what's the right way to go about this? Am I going to screw up? You're afraid of this failure. Oh, you've been to Romania. Yeah, there's something about it. There's something about that. What's up with the Romania connection? I'm getting like a past lover. Not necessarily from this life. I feel like it's from a past life. Did you meet a twin flame or anybody this year? Somebody like that you've not been able to like really move on from? Or not, like, has been driving you nuts? Like you're just like, oh my God, where's my sanity in this? Hey, Suzanne. Greetings. Because you're definitely being tested. And that's where that anxiety comes from, because you're ready. Like, so I'll give it to you straight here. You've been a runner a lot in your life. When things don't go right, you're like, nope, taking the exit, emergency exit. Here's the fire pole, drop down it and run. And it's helped you in a lot of situations and circumstances. It's got you. It's helped you to survive. It's this feeling. I feel like you maybe ran away from home when you were young because of some domestic issues. Is this for Luvia? I'm interested in someone and trying to get out of a relationship. Mm-hmm. This card is really fitting then. Your commitment is being tested. I think to either, because there's this part in you where it's like, I don't want to lose either of them. And I've been in this situation before where I was in a relationship, but then some things went down between me and my friend years ago. And we started getting close. And then I was in this awkward position where it's like, oh my God, like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to have like two people invested in me simultaneously. And I was so concerned about losing both of them. And so like locked in not being able to make a choice or to make a decision. And that itself is what made the decision for me. And I ended up losing both of them like I had feared. So there's definitely some relevance to this. Yeah, that's what I'm getting. So you're in a bit of a pickle. All right, let's do Lulu. Lulu, are you there? You have an interesting energy. Should we? Okay. This deck has been calling me more lately. I haven't really been using this deck. This is a hard-hitting deck. This is like liquid truth serum being injected into your esoteric veins. Oh, we're back again. All right. You're very welcome, Luvia. All right, Lulu's here. But anyways, what I was saying is this is the I Ching Oracle. I Ching is the oldest surviving written book on the planet. It was written as a precursor to the to Chinese astrology, actually. I Ching is translated as the Book of Changes. So it talks about the basic state of this world, of matter, of existence. And this deck is really straight and to the point. It doesn't sugarcoat anything. So, and I've been drawing this for myself lately. I haven't done anyone else's readings, but with this deck, because it can make you cry. But this is really coming forward for you right now, Lulu. And I've got a book, so I'm going to channel whatever I get with this, and then I have a book that I need to read from because I heard that it's going to help you. It's going to help you solidify what's coming through and help you retain what you're about to hear, is what I hear. So Lulu, what does Lulu Love need to see and hear tonight about her life? A little bit of reluctance. It's like whatever this, you've been used to letting go and letting the flow of life take you, but for the first time in a long time, here's how I'll explain it. It's like you've let the flow take you 80% of the way, but when you've almost reached the estuary that empties into the ocean of wherever you go, you're resisting. You're like second guessing. Oh God, is this the river that I wanted to go down? That's the sense that I'm getting. All right, let's draw this. There are some people within your immediate friends group who do not represent themselves authentically. This is the card I'm getting. It's the 54th trigram. These are trigrams. They represent different states of being. But this is what I'm channeling right now, just straight through me. And then after what I'm going to deliver here, I'm going to go and read from the actual book verbatim what it has to say about this card, because this is your current state. Whoa, man, a lot of energy too. There's some anger with this. There's some frustration with this because you really don't like feeling. Actually, your biggest pet peeve is feeling controlled. The thing that triggers you the most, because this comes from father. Your father was very demanding and very narcissistic in a way, and like it was his way or the highway. And that's why I was wondering earlier if I was channeling you or Luvia about running away from home, because there's this running away from home at 16 kind of vibe that I get in this. Maybe it's both of you in this group. You had the balls to do it, the gumption to do it. I wanted to for years, but never did. Never did end up doing that. There's also something about, like, I don't know if you're a mother, but there's a mother involved and like a child, a boy. This is a young boy. He's like 8 or 9 years old. And it's like this sense of needing to protect. I need to protect. Oh, wow. Sarah says, I did. Olivia says, that was me. Okay, so, all right, there is multiple people that I'm picking up on. I don't know if Lulu does too, if she ran away also. So Luvia says that was her. And then Sarah did when she was young too, out of the country. I left home at 17. We have ideas about what abuse is, because intolerance sometimes, there's a gray area, right? Borderline abuse. That's what I'm getting with this. It's just like not taken up with crap, not putting up with crap from like an older person, like a male. But there's like this connection with the mother and this younger son. I don't know, because that's what I'm seeing in this. Like, this is the mom. She's got like her shoulder around this son and being like, this is my son. Here he is. And there's good sentiment with it, but it's also a remnant of this controlling vibe, like this, like, nope, I'm going to take care of you. Even if you don't know how to take care of yourself, I'm going to take care of you, kind of a thing to it. Luvius has not ran away, but left early. You know, I couldn't wait to leave home either when I did. All right, so that's Lulu. Now, I'm going to read from the book here and see what this is about, because there's something in the book that's going to resonate with you, Lulu. So 54. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yo. Okay, they give titles to these trigrams and give them like overall meanings. I'm going to hold this up as I read it. This 54th trigram is called the subordinate, or the marrying maiden. You're in a situation in the original text. The marrying maiden symbolizes a woman who's subordinate to the official wife and has no influence. Referring to your life, this means that your being will not be acknowledged. You're only seen in your role and how you play it. This is certainly not satisfying, but you do not try to force changes now, as these could have a disastrous effect. It has never been easier to make mistakes. All you do now is inappropriate or will be misunderstood. Okay. You have no control except to understand that you're in trouble and to act accordingly. Remain passive, and with careful attention, you'll overcome this crisis. You can use this time of subordination to practice adaptation, modesty, and humility, and plan and think about the future. Keep your ideals, and you will survive this time without any greater mistakes. I feel like not all of that is going to apply to you, Lulu, but the sense of subordination, like being under one's thumb, spot on. Katie says, I like this group tonight. Appreciate it. Lulu says, 1,000% I don't like being controlled. Haha. Or hee hee. Yeah, we're all being triggered right now with some of our greatest fears. For me, it's being manipulated, or not necessarily being manipulated, but more accurately being fooled or being deceived is a big one for me. So that's going around. There's a lot of people, I should say, that have this. Well, but I mean, for the first 6 months, and I've been saying this all throughout last year, for the first 6 months of 2021, it's all about personal development. It's all about like using what you learned in 2020 to put your foot forward, to understand yourself more, because we're being triggered more and more and more and more. A lot of people are doubling down, right? That's the exact phrase that I heard when I began this broadcast tonight. Doubling down on pointing the fingers and being like, it's their problem, it's their fault, this side over here. And that's what's creating that line in the sand, so to speak, that actually doesn't exist. You guys, heads up, doesn't exist. Like attracts like. So where there's arguing, it's going to be met with arguing. Where there's misunderstanding, it's going to be met with misunderstanding. Because now's not a time for the collective necessarily. The collective is being all chaotic because people as individuals are being chaotic within themselves. So without judging anybody, I'm saying that now is a wonderful time for us to dive inward and take a look at what we're being triggered about. So that was Lulu. Thank you, Lulu. Appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for being on this live with me here tonight. I've got a jet. I appreciate you being on here. Please do like this, share this, help me grow an audience. It'd be more fun. It's fun already, but it's fun to get a larger group. If you feel compelled to have a private reading with me, please head over to revealingfate.com schedule that, or reach out to me directly on a DM. That works too. Follow me on Facebook. My page is at Skye Chen Psychic. If you type that up, you'll be able to find me and all those good things. So Sarah says, yes, I'm feeling this. Thank you, Skye. Thank you. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Katie. Thank you, Lulu. Thank you, everybody that came on. I appreciate your presence. I appreciate your presence so much. I'm Sean Connery now. That resonates. Thank you, Skye, says Lulu. Appreciate you guys. Much love. We'll talk soon.